bumped into one of my exes, well, two of my exes the other day.
Where?
I feel like ex is probably a little bit generous, but
Right.
like two guys one that I used to see and one that I dated, but I felt like emotionally they were quite pivotal.
Important.
No, again, I feel like that's quite generous.
Right, well, pivotal's quite a strong word as well. Emotionally pivotal.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's it mean?
Like the important part of a story, the pivotal part of a story.
Okay, yeah, that's generous.
Yeah.
But they definitely like
Made an
had
impression.
an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a foot in mud. Go on.
Exactly that. So the first one, I just did a very Carrie Bradshaw thing and was like, guys, everyone finish your drinks. We're leaving immediately.
So it was like you were in a bar and they just walked in.
I was in a bar and he was like in a couple booths over.
So you did that whole like, oh my God, can he see me? And hunch down and then like run out.
Like when he's on the computer.
Yeah.
She's like, can he see me? I love that. No, I knew... Well, I don't think he could see me from what I gathered, but I was like, guys, I'm really sorry to do this, but we're leaving. They're like, we just got drinks. I was like, I'll get the next round. Let's go.
Oh, right, that's all right. I'd have been miffed. I'd been like, I will not down this espresso martini. Actually, I would have.
I think it was just because he was probably the more recent one, so I was still a little bit like, I'm just not quite... Yeah, I'm not quite at that place yet. And then the other one was in the gym.
Right.
And he was on the bench next to me, so I could not ignore it.
Oh.
And it's been like a long time. We still have each other on Instagram, so there's like no bad feelings there.
Right.
But you know, when it was just somebody I'd always considered like, oh, if they confess their undying love for me, would I ever like...
This was your thought process. If they ever confess their undying love to me, I think I would go on a date with them.
Yeah. No, but I thought this before the gym incident. I was just thinking...
No, that's what I mean. Before you started dating, you were like, if they told me they loved me.
Not before we started dating.
Oh, okay.
After
I thought you was expecting this person to just rock up one day and confess. Throw a stone at the window like, I've changed.
But wait, why would they do that before we dated?
I don't know.
Oh, no. But I was thinking maybe they'd do that after we dated. Basically, he was a narcissist. I just don't know if he was necessarily aware of that.
I really thought you were going to say a Nazi just then.
Oh.
Which, you know, wouldn't be impossible, state of the world. But
Also, like, really terrible, but I feel like that would have impacted me less.
Right, okay. Okay, why? So you felt like he was a narcissist?
Yeah, 100%. But I won't go into that anyway. But it was just one of those moments where I thought about it for so long, and then at the time, it really wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
I was perfectly fine. I didn't think about the interaction any more than it had happened. I literally left and I was like, that was awkward.
Oh.
Told my friends about it, didn't ruminate on it. I was like, shit, am I healed?
Well, that's nice and healthy.
Isn't it?
I thought you were going to do another runner and like lob a dumbbell at someone on the way out.
No, I was like, oh, how good is that?
Oh, nice. Did he look good? I retract my question.
Okay, thank you. I think that's the nice thing to do.
Yeah. Speaking of the gym, have you seen, like, there is something that I have been thinking about quite recently that really winds me up.
Yeah, tell me.
So obviously I follow quite a few people who obviously make time for the gym in their schedules. And one thing that really pisses me off whenever I see someone post like a picture of their like ripped body is when they add a caption like underneath or in their bio or something that's like, body made by pizza.
Oh, I can't stand it. I literally saw one today, and like, no hate to this boy because we have sexted before, but he...
Okay.
But he posted a picture of himself shirtless, and he's like, fatty, fatty, bum, bum.
Oh my God. I can't stand it.
Bruv, you literally have a six-pack. What do you mean?
Is that body dysmorphia? Because
No.
it could be.
No.
Or is it people trying to be like, which I hate, fake humble? Where they're like, oh, this little old thing. And then they rip out like their fucking bulging pecs and look like something off of like
No.
Mr. Universe.
No, because I feel like a humble brag would be, oh, yeah. And then, like, it was just, you know, like, so hard because I had a six-pack and it really got in the way. Like, it would be
Got in the way of what? Your belt?
I don't know, but you catch my drift.
Oh, when people are like, what people don't understand about being in really good shape is that other people judge you for being in really good shape.
Yes,
and then they think that you're just a body and you're not fun.
Yes,
and then
exactly.
That's wank as well.
Right, so that would be that case. And also I feel like if it was real, then you wouldn't post it. Like if it was real body dysmorphia, I just feel like you wouldn't post it. You would be too ashamed to put a picture of yourself with your top off on the internet if you really felt like you were fat.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's just people being like, oh, they've maybe gained a couple of pounds and they've noticed it.
Yeah.
So it's maybe a sense of them like reassuring themselves, or it's just a way for them to like garner people's
It's that
compliments.
thing of like saying something that someone will say something to the contrary.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm
Fishing.
so fat. Fishing. That's what I was like, I'm sure there's a word for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate when people are like, oh yeah, my body is, all I eat is junk food all the time. And it's like, you obviously don't. You are so lean. You are so ripped. There is no way you could be doing that. You are living on a diet of like skinless chicken and tren. Like,
Tren? Who's Tren?
Like anabolic growth hormones and things like that.
Oh, I was literally about to say body made by pizza and the base is made of broccoli. Broccoli, skinless chicken and...
HGH, human growth hormone.
Oh, I was going to say GHB.
That's the weekends.
Oh, GBL.
GBL.
Yeah, the other thing I hate as well is when they'll post like... The one that I saw was on Twitter and it was somebody posting a picture of their younger self and then a picture of their roided up current self.
Fuck. Go on.
Respectfully. And it said, I invented twink death, by the way. And you're just like, first of all, you really think that's original?
Don't they say things like, I had to kill the old me to be born again or something like that? And it's like, born again means like shoving a needle in your fucking arsehole or arse cheek. I wouldn't know. I've never done steroids.
Oh, I don't know why I thought he was going down like a Christianity kind of route. Like,
what?
Born again. I mean, it bothers me.
They do put you on a cycle as soon as you sign up to like the Baptist church and stuff like that. Yeah.
What, steroids?
Yeah.
Part of the conversion therapy.
Yeah.
It bothers me because I just think it comes from such a place of like self-loathing. Like it really takes you to be able to step outside of that line of thinking to recognise how hateful you're being to your younger self.
Yeah. It's not very kind to your old self.
It's not. And that young boy, I feel like the way you're talking about him now, it sounds like he needs a lot of care and a lot of love. And you can't even give that to yourself, which I just think is quite sad.
It is sad. I read something the other day, actually, that was really like, not that profound is probably a bit too strong, but I read something that was like, you should grow into the type of person who would protect the young you.
No, I love that.
And I think that's really nice.
Yeah.
And when someone makes a statement like that, that is not very...
No, it's not. But listen, also, I'm in therapy and I've been in therapy for over a year. And a lot of that work is dealing with like healing your inner child and shit like
unmet
that.
Needs and like care a wound and things like that.
Yeah. And he's just like, here you go, you little 8-year-old, have some steroids.
You were a scrawny piece of shit. You need to beef up and die.
Eat your chicken.
Yeah. That's sad. I could understand the mindset that comes from, or maybe the temptation to joke about it.
Yeah, 100%.
It isn't a healthy mindset, and I don't think it should be celebrated. I think getting in shape is a great thing. I think making exercise like a big part of your life is a good thing, but also it shouldn't be like a punishment for your old body or anything like that. Right, exactly.
And also, I think it's fair enough if you were to say like, listen, I love my younger self, whatever. I personally wasn't really comfortable in my body, which is why I chose to make some changes. But he'd literally be like, so I got that bitch, and then like, it was like...
Stuff her full of meat.
It reminded me of The Substance, but then like the skinny one dies, and then like this big beefy bitch comes out of the body.
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah. That would be the gay version of The Substance. It would be like a little skinny, and then like a massive... Oh my God, like...
where is Ryan Murphy? We can get this made. We could so get this made.
It would be that though, because I think there's that priority put, or like that value placed on that kind of body aesthetic and stuff.
And the thing is, what people don't realize, being at, like, from his viewpoint, is that going to the gym is not an adequate replacement for therapy.
No. It is very good for your mental health. I will say that. I feel like one of those people who gets a bit evangelical about the gym, like as in it helps with my anxiety, but it isn't like a replacement for.
But that's a natural workout with natural endorphins.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it does, and it's also good for me to like help get my head in order, like that repetitive motion, because of my ADHD. It helps me. That the movement takes a lot of the noise away, so I can think through other stuff while I'm doing it.
Yeah, but that's...
but it isn't going to make you understand yourself any better in for the most part, I don't think.
No, and it's not going to heal those parts of you that are broken, which make you want to go to the gym and take steroids in the first place.
True.
Not saying having like a body transformation, like you're always trying to heal something, but I think when you go to the extremism that he did, and also when people watch this, there's going to be like a little picture here of the guy.
Oh, you're going to put it in? It's like that. Do you remember The Swan? That fucking reality
oh my
show
God.
where they used to have all the fucking like plastic surgery, and then
kind of obsessed with that.
They get rid. But it is very much like that, because I noticed like a lot of PTs and stuff, like online PTs, will post like body transformation reveals and things like that, and it feeds that line of thinking. I feel like, where they're like, you start here and then you do this massive reveal at the end, and you have to have like a really extreme transformation, and that's the thing to aspire to.
Look, I mean, some people do need that. Let's be realistic. I feel like some people do need that. You need an image overhaul. Some people need a body overhaul. But I feel like going from skinny to extreme muscle like that, it just, I guess people who are slim can also be unhealthy too.
Yeah.
But surely...
It's not healthy to put your body through that amount of stress, whatever direction you're going in. If it's like massive weight loss very quickly or massive
it's not.
weight gain very quickly.
But also I heard this thing, and it was like gay people, and when I read this I was like, it said gay people will transform their physique until they look like the man that they want to attract.
True. I noticed that. Like sometimes when I look at myself now, this is going to sound really naff, but like I think of it in a way less the sort of like this is a my body kind of vision, and more like if I wasn't me, would I fancy this person? Yeah. So I sometimes notice that, and it is quite an odd feeling.
But I think I get that. I think that's a part of the reason why we see a lot of boyfriend twins.
Yeah.
But if you fancy like slightly more masculine men, or men who present as masculine, or men who have muscles, and then they're all hooking up with the other guys who look exactly the same, then people do feel like they need to go to those extreme lengths to be a part of that little clique, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, there's a peg for every hole. In a manner of speaking, there are people that like I have got with guys when I used to be like a little like skinny little thing, like really big guys that were into that. So I think it's just a matter of finding those people.
100%.
Speaking of that, actually, I have noticed that as I get into better shape over time, because I've only really taken working out and exercise seriously maybe for the last, I think like just after the pandemic, because I noticed I was sort of like not doing any movement and getting a bit shapeless.
A little bit doughy.
Like it was sort of there was just no definition. It was a bit like a blancmange, because I've always like had a relatively
like a blancmange. The way you wrap that and then try to move on.
I've always been relatively lucky in the sense that like I don't gain weight very easily, so I never used to consider about what I eat, and I would just be like one of them people that would eat whatever all the time.
Yeah.
And then obviously like sitting around for 2 years doing nothing, that will take its toll on anyone. So that was when I started to think about
I mean, it probably would have come at about 38 anyway.
Yeah, true. So. They do. Well, the thing is, everyone always is like, once you get to 30, the metabolism goes down. And I was like, ain't happened to me yet, bitch. And then it did. But I have noticed, like, the better shape I get into...
But just by the way, I knew somebody like that. His whole life was, like, super skinny. Everyone used to say it to him. And he was literally like, that is never going to happen. 33, got fat and lost his hair. I was like, oh, pick a struggle.
Oh,
but yeah.
God. All the chickens came home to roost.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, I have noticed, like... Obviously, I get different attention now, and I get attention from guys that maybe I wouldn't have been able to get attention from before, which in some ways is like really gratifying, and then I also almost like hate that I find it gratifying that like I am now able to attract attention from those people, because I feel like in some ways it's a recognition of an achievement, but also I'm like, fuck you. You wouldn't have fancied me 3 years ago, and I was great then as well. Like, because I don't hate my old self.
No.
Like, obviously I like the aesthetic benefits of working out, but I also like the mental benefits. But my big thing was like wanting to build a stronger body.
Yeah.
Like, feel less weak, feel more secure in myself, feel like my body was more...
Feel less weak, bitch. You're chatting like you just come off stage for a cancer treatment. What the fuck?
But you know what? Because I think when you're a small person, because I'm short and I've always been like slender, so I always had this like, and like people, like when people bully you, they pick on things like that. Like when I was younger, I'd get bullied for being small and thin and stuff like that. So it does feed into your like own mental self-image in a way. And so I would always think of myself as like less able to defend myself, maybe. I think that's why I always like things like Buffy, Lara Croft, Tekken, like people that could like actually beat people up and do stuff.
Right. And now you have the beautiful body of a superhero feminine.
Exactly, yeah. I have Lara Croft's tits and Buffy's hair.
Listen, I fully get it, because I've definitely had a body transformation from when I was like 22, 23.
Yeah.
But then when people did come back around, I'd be like, tastes like blancmange, because now I'm about to reject you, bitch.
Is that what blancmange tastes like? Rejection?
Revenge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But sometimes it's not like that. I do also like, I kind of get it. You know, like sometimes I'd be like, don't really fancy him. And then sometimes you see people and you're like, fucking hell, they've had a glow up. Yeah, I do fancy them now.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Because then I think, oh, God, maybe I'm being a bit of a hypocrite here. Because if someone else did the same thing and then rocked up with like a slamming body, I might be like, oh, maybe I slept on you. Like,
see, I'm not really like a massive body queen, but I'm just like, do you know, if you went and started, you know, eating some vegetables, your skin started to glow. You learn how to get
rid of your scurvy.
Learned how to get a skin fade. Learned to dress a little bit less like you're homeless or whatever, stuff like that. Right. Yeah. Because one of the things that actually bothers me, weirdly, it doesn't bother me, but like when I see guys who are like just a little bit chunky, and then they lose weight, and I'm like, okay, now you look like Dory from Finding Nemo with your little...
What? I've never thought that. Dory from Finding Nemo. See, the thing is, it's funny. I like a bit of chunk on a guy.
So do I.
I really like it. But
and I hate it when they lose weight. I'm like, there's enough skinny people in the world. Please, go back.
I am susceptible to like, if someone then suddenly does like a body reveal, like we were talking about, like this transformation. Against my better judgment, my head will turn for like a set of like big pecs or something like that. So if someone like that I thought was previously cute then shows up with that, I'll be like...
See, I like it when they've got muscle but it's covered by fat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a strong body. Are we just going to start talking about what we fancy now? I like a strong body. I like a bit of chunk. I like hairy tummy.
No, but I do like, I just think there's like, honestly don't think there's anything wrong with a dad bod. To me, No,
not at all. I like a dad bod.
I kind of associate that and that build with like security and like feeling protected.
Yeah.
And, you know.
I think the most important thing is that they feel comfortable in their body. Something that like I find difficult is when someone asks for reassurance all the time.
Yeah.
So like my first
not hot
long-term boyfriend was gorgeous, really beautiful Brazilian guy, like 6'2", really hot, great face, everything. Everyone used to comment about how attractive he was, but he was really insecure about his body because he had a little bit of like extra fat. He had like what you're talking about, like almost like muscular body, but with weight on it. But it was such like a psychological issue for him that like even when we were having sex, he would ask me to reassure him that he wasn't fat. And I found that really difficult. It was a real turn off because I'd just be like, no, you're not fat.
I love how you're doing that like you're juggling a hippo. You're like, no, yeah. But also kind of good because then you know they're too insecure to cheat.
Well, no, because I think if someone's insecure, they're more likely to cheat because if then one person pays them like one nice compliment, it'll turn their head. you know, because that validation means so much more. I think
Depends how deep rooted it is.
maybe everyone's just shit. Like, in general, everyone's a cheater. I don't know. Because then I was thinking if someone's super attractive, they get so many people throwing themselves at them that it's hard to resist. So what I'm saying is, people ain't shit.
Well, if nobody's your boyfriend, they can never cheat on you. But going back to your point about like people being comfortable in their skin.
Yeah.
Just on the topic of bodies, one thing that like I've just noticed, it will be like with, just say for example, somebody like Lizzo, she'll preach about body positivity. Me personally, I think body positivity is too optimistic. I think we should settle for body acceptance.
Okay.
Just especially for people who have constantly had issues with their body, I think body acceptance is more achievable.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're going for body positivity and then you're failing, you're maybe going to feel bad about yourself. But she was constantly like, I love myself. I'm so happy. And then she went and lost a load of weight.
Oh, has she?
Yeah.
I haven't seen her.
She dressed up as Ozempic for Halloween because she's had Ozempic allegations. So she literally dressed up like a packet of Ozempic.
That's one way to fucking run head on at the allegations. Yeah. I mean, I quite that. That's all right. I like that. But
the costume looks shit.
I can understand that it would feel like if you were one of the people like that really resonated with that message through the music, it would feel a bit like a betrayal, or you'd feel disappointed by that.
Right, but also I would rather people were just honest from the fucking start, rather than sitting there going, I'm big and I'm curvy and I love it. I would rather you just went, I'm big and I'm curvy.
I hate it.
No, but like, I accept that. I'm working on it. I would love to lose weight, but I really struggle with that. In the interim, I'm trying to work on like body beautiful.
The problem is that don't make a catchy pop song, does it? That's the thing. You've got to like, the message has got to be like high impact, you know, like be quite controversial in some ways. So that's why a lot of that kind of messaging in music and that kind of stuff is the way it is. I don't know if that was always the way she felt about it. Maybe she always was a little bit unhappy and always working on it. But like I said, that's not going to make, that don't make a hook.
But also her songs, I don't really feel like are specifically about weight, like Good as Hell. It's just like a feel good. She just makes feel good music.
True. I don't know, maybe it's invention of the record label or something like that.
And I feel like she should be like, yeah, if I want to be a big girl and twerk, I'm going to twerk. But then when she loses 40, 50 pounds, she's like, I'm still going to twerk. People are like, whoa, that's who you been.
Yeah.
Surely if you love being bigger, you're going to be miserable now.
Maybe she was happy being big and then something happened along the way where she got like health advice where they said, if you keep being like this, it's going to be detrimental to your joints and to your blood pressure and to your, you know, arteries and things like that. What are you laughing for?
If you keep being like you're being.
You know what I'm trying to say? If you carry, well, I was going to say if you carry on like this, but that makes it sound like she was like willfully running to like Burger King and shoving things down. But I just mean if you continue in this state of being, it may not be
if
healthy.
you continue being.
It might not be a good bet for you in the long run, health-wise. So maybe that happened.
Yeah.
Because obviously not everyone grows up with the best like education about health and things like that anyway, or they just think it never happened to me. I'm fat and happy. It can never happen to me, and then you get like a scare, heart thing or something like that. So who knows? Yeah.
Well, anyway, I just kind of felt like I fully agree with you, but then I was a bit like, do you know what? Not really my business, is it? Not that anything we talk about on this podcast is ever my business, but
that's true. We are just sticking our fucking beaks in everywhere.
I love it.
Do you know what? I stuck my beak into the fucking Wi-Fi at my gym the other day because and it weren't a place I wanted it to go. Because I turned it on, like I obviously connected to the Wi-Fi while I'm there because the app I use is linked to it. Blah blah blah. Like literally. The minute I connected to the Wi-Fi, I went on Instagram. I started getting ads for Psalms, and for like Psalms are like
the Bible chapter.
No, what is it with you in the Bible and fucking religion? Born again, the Bible, the fucking thing. No, nothing about the church. It was all like Psalms are like the new version of steroids, the ones that are like less bad for you, and you can just apparently buy them anywhere online at the moment with like no problem, because I was literally getting like Instagram ads for like, do you want to stack your SARMs? Get the fucking like the activator, the terminator, get the bodybuilder, and it was all like these different little
The
vials.
activator is the substance.
No, I know. I was just
You're about to kill your current self.
I like more.
But wait, that was off the gym Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but I didn't realise this because I was like, why the fuck am I getting all these ads for like roids, basically? Like, I feel that's really like irresponsible. I mentioned it to someone and they said, have you connected to like a public Wi-Fi? And I was like, yeah, at the gym. And they said, it's because the cookies, like all them cookies that we always just happily accept, and we're like, yeah, of course, I don't know what that is. Yeah.
Protein cookies?
No, the cookies on your computer on the internet, the ones you're always clicking yes to. I always say yes to a protein cookie. It basically, like, it stores information from all the other people what is using the Wi-Fi in that location.
Oh,
and
is
so,
that what it does?
And then serves you things that, based on their usage, they've been looking at that thinks you might like too because you're in the same place.
Is your gym quite roidy?
I didn't realise that. That's the thing. I mean, I heard that guy shit himself in the toilet, but I didn't think there was anything else going on there that heavy. But then I did, after I saw them ads, I took a look around and I was like, that's actually why I lingered by the toilet as well. I was like, I bet it's a roid head. But yeah, I did have a look around and I thought, oh, okay, I could see a couple of these. They had that slightly too dry look, you know, that thicker skin, ruddy red look.
Ah.
You know, when people do roids and it makes their skin get a bit thicker and stuff like that, and like they look almost dried out.
Scaly?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ah.
So.
Well, I've, like, one of my friends has said to me before, like, oh, I'm thinking about doing it. Like, I just have to do it. Like, I need to get a body, blah, 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 blah. Like, but he is tall and slim, so he's always wanted to have that more muscular physique.
Right.
And I've always just been like, no way, no girl, like, no, I just would never do it. But that's coming from me who, like, doesn't struggle as much as he would to put muscle on.
Yeah.
But I considered it like this year. I was like, oh, do I just do it? Because, you know, when they do it, like, their stomachs go so flat. And I'm like, but also that is a telltale sign.
Yeah,
I love it how guys are like, I'm all natural. And I'm like,
Those are worse than the pizza people. They're fucking worse than the pizza people when they're like 100% natural. Like, there's he was like 21 and all natty. And I was like, there's no way.
I mean, natty is correct.
There's no way anyone who looks like that with a waist that small and just an impossible level of
and
like,
also,
muscle growth.
you have a vein circling your belly button like the M25.
I would
What do you mean?
I would have so much more respect for people if they just say, no, I'm not natural. Like, fine, you made your choice. It's not a choice I would choose. And of course, I've entertained it because like, one thing I hate is like a barrier that I know I can't surpass. And, you know, I'm like 30, how old am I now? 36. So it's going to get harder and harder as time goes on to like build muscle and keep weight off and that kind of thing. And then you're flooded with images, particularly on Instagram and stuff like that, of people with like super ripped bodies. And it has crossed my mind. I'd be like, should I just do it? Should I just give it a go?
I mean,
I don't do it.
I'm still not ruling it out for the future.
The reason I haven't done it is like for a number of reasons. Like, I don't want to be on TRT for the rest of my life, like testosterone replacement therapy. I don't want to risk
what
like
the fuck does that involve?
Because when you take things like anabolic steroids and stuff like that, and SARMs particularly, it gives you like an artificial dose of things like testosterone.
What about if you're on Leviticus?
Then just no shellfish. Or if you're in your period, go in the tent.
Yeah.
But like, then it suppresses your body's natural production of certain things, and in some cases, it's hard for it to restart. And if you do steroids,
So how do they replace it though? That's what.
Well,
I mean.
you have to then buy a second vial of like a replacement, and you slowly do that while your body starts back up again. But people who do steroids longer and longer, the more you do it, the less your body remembers to start reproducing. So some guys who have been on it for like years and years are on testosterone replacement therapy for the rest of their lives. And there's loads of other things like cardiac shit. To be honest, if I wasn't so sure, my hair would immediately fall out.
Does it?
I like, for some people it does. It doesn't for everyone. But I just feel like my hair's really fine.
So's mine.
And like, it would just be sod's law. And I don't want like a load of back knee either. I already had acne once. I don't need back knee.
As soon as you said the hair thing, I'm like, listen, I've been on fucking
Propecia. That's what it's called, isn't it?
What's the other one? Finasteride.
That's it, yeah.
I was on finasteride for ages, and then I stopped that, and now I'm on minoxidil. So definitely not trying to fuck with my hair follicles.
Exactly.
And also, is it true that it like shrinks Shrinks your dick, or
It doesn't shrink your dick. It makes your balls smaller though, because again, it lowers like hormone production, and hormones are part of what like make your balls full because they're producing like a lot of sex hormones. So all that stuff.
So would it make your cum shot smaller?
Potentially, if that's a big deal to you.
Interesting.
But it's also, and like things like that skin thickness, like that rough skin sort of look. I don't want that. So I've had to say to myself, right, you may never be able to achieve that kind of body.
But also, girl,
like,
you don't want to be like 5'4" and 5 foot wide.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not the look.
Yeah.
You're good. You're proportionate.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
very
so
much.
welcome.
Just so you know, someone came over to me in the gym the other day and told me.
And said what?
And said, well, I thought they were trying to accost me. Like, I thought it was an assailant at first. Because, you know, when you're stood there and you're in your own world with your headphones on. And I turned around and it was a gym employee, like one of them people that just watches the floor and whatever. I turned around and was like, and then he was like, can I ask you a question? I was like, what? What do you want? And he was like, did you used to be really skinny? And I was like, well, yes. And he was like, oh, yeah, because I am. And he was like, you look like you might have been in the past, but yours is the kind of body I want now. And I was like, oh,
right, sorry,
never
bitch.
happened to me in my life.
Don't you work at the fucking gym?
But it was a bit odd. And then he said, how much do you eat a day? And I was like, just pizza.
You were like, you were like food or cock?
But it's so pathetic how flattered I was by that. It happened in the summertime as well when I was leaving a tube station, and one of them charity muggers was like, you with the muscles. And I was like, me with the muscles? They were probably lying because I was in a vest. But like that, like just like they obviously thought maybe I was trying to show off. But again, it was just like, me with the muscles? How much do you want in your little bucket there?
I think you are the bucket.
You know what? You're not wrong.
You just minced into that one.
I was on my way to be a bucket anyway, so you were very correct.
But yeah, flattered by a charity beggar.
I'm flattered by anyone that will pay me a nice compliment. That's
That
that's
is
what
not
I'm talking
news to
about.
me.
Insecure people will cheat. That's because I've cheated because I'm fucking insecure and someone paid me a compliment.
Wait, is that how you cheated? No, it's not.
Years ago, yeah.
What,
When I was
'cause they
younger,
paid you a
and I used to-
compliment?
well, no, but like, not compliment on the street, like nice hat, and I was like. But you know, someone who said like I used to be very susceptible. Well, still am.
By the way, if you're listening to it on Spotify, you need to go to YouTube. See what James just did. He just thrusted his penis into the microphone.
But yeah, I used to like when you're that insecure about how you look and stuff. I think I used to be. It was very easy to flatter me into bed, especially like older men. You know, we both said like when we were younger, we were very like. We probably slept with a few pedos.
100%, yeah.
But I think a lot of men would probably take advantage of that as well.
Accident.
By accident, yeah, not intentionally.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a pedo. 18 years old and looking for a pedo.
Grinder tags, pedophile.
I just love nonce. Be nonce.
Something about that is just so funny to me. Well, do you know what? On that noncy note, we are coming towards the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Guys, we hope you've been enjoying watching. If you want to follow us on social media, I'm at Gilet Slays.
And I am at IamTomDop.
Guys, thank you for listening / watching, and we will see you next week.